Good morning, taste buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. It's breakfast time, and I've got a breakfast for you, Mexican style. So stay where you are because it's Desayuno south of the border. Today on SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Buenos días, sabor aficionados. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Welcome to SoFlo Taste and welcome to the Goya Kitchen here at J World in Coconut Creek. I welcome you with some Spanish this morning because I'm taking you on a culinary tour of Mexico. But since it's morning now in Mexico, I thought it would be more fun to take you on a culinary tour of breakfast or desayuno in Mexico. And I think you'll find some of my recipes today have become breakfast standards in this country too. So let's get cooking. The first dish I want to make for you is a steak burrito, and we do have great steak. I went to Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market and I got a churrasco or a skirt steak. I just want to remind you that our amazing friends over at Delaware, they're just donating 10 cents for every pound of poultry breast right now and every pound of chicken cutlets, tenderloins, ground chicken, sold all throughout October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month to the Florida Breast Cancer Foundation, which is wonderful. Delaware Seafood Market is located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Call them 954-983-6831 or just go to delawarechicken.com, place an order, tell them I sent you, and they're just the best. Delaware Cares helps support the fight. Please, during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and tell them again that I told y'all to call. Okay, we're gonna start our burritos. So, like I said, I got this gorgeous skirt steak, I like to call it churrasco, over there, and it's cleaned, it's fatty, it's delicious, and I cut it into little strips. So what I did was I cut it in half lengthwise, and I just sliced it up nice and thin. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of vegetable oil, and I'm gonna quickly sear the meat, put it back in the bowl, and then we'll go into the vegetables. So let's go ahead and throw the meat in the pan. And you cook it how you like your meat cooked, because when we're all done and we form the burrito, it's not gonna cook that much more after that. Let's go ahead and season our steak. And if there's another cut you like more, if you'd rather a New York, a ribeye, a filet mignon, for those of you that like to keep it a little bit more lean, that's fine too. I like to go a little bit under, like a medium rare for me is so perfect for almost all my steaks. I like my tenderloin rare, I have to tell you. Okay, once you have a nice sear on it, go ahead and remove it and place it into a bowl. We're not going to clean the pan because we want all that goodness still in there to flavor everything that we have. So I'm going to add a little more oil just for searing purposes. And I'm going to go ahead and cook peppers. So these are just bell peppers, green, red. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of jalapeno. These have been small diced, but I took away the seeds because I don't want it to be too spicy. If you like heat, then use the veins, use the seeds, use that whole darn thing. All right, I've got a small diced white onion. I like using white onions more than yellow when I'm cooking more in a Mexican style, just because that's what they use more. Okay, the last thing we're gonna add, I julienne some tomatoes instead of dicing them, just because I love julienne pieces of tomato, but you can cut them any old way. No seeds in this. I don't really care if you have them or not, it's up to you. And then again, we're gonna season because you want everything inside of your burrito to have flavor. Once everything is just starting to get really nice and soft, but not too mushy, we're gonna go ahead and add our meat back real quick, and then I'm gonna add eggs to this to kind of hold everything together. Depending on how you like your eggs cooked, you can change this. I'm just gonna go ahead and crack 2 eggs into this and just make it into a scramble. Oh, I got a double yolk. I consider that good luck. All right. I'm actually gonna lower my heat because I like soft scrambled eggs. and start folding it all together. And the great thing is the egg will bind it all and cook rather quickly because everything here is already warm and juicy. These are big flour burritos found in any type of a store. We're gonna go ahead and add some cheese to it. This is just a Mexican shredded blend of cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and heat this up. I'm gonna put this cast iron pan, it has a little butter inside of it. I'm gonna put that really low down because this filling would probably be enough for about 3 to 4 burritos. So let's use about 1/4 of it for this. This is so yummy. Oh. Now, for people like me, I would just eat the filling because I don't eat flour anymore. For those of you that do, go for this. Or you can obviously get a corn tortilla, and that would also be rather delicious. So let's go ahead and fold in the sides. Do our first fold and tuck. It's all about tucking. And then go ahead and roll. And there we have it. Let's go ahead and put this into our little pat of butter, warm it up. When you come back, it should be nice and toasty. You can even probably put it in the oven and it would be perfectly fine too. But I love this method because it gets a nice caramelization from the butter and the warmth. Our cheese should melt. Come back, let's see how delicious that is. But I also have my husband's absolute favorite breakfast coming up, so do not go away.
Chef Michelle has more from the Goya kitchen at JA World. SoFlo Taste is back in 2.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste as I give you some of my favorite recipes for Mexican breakfast. Desayuno in Mexico usually refers to a light meal that you eat shortly after waking up. A heartier meal is served mid-morning. But you know me, I can't go small. I have to go grande. So now back to Desayuno here on SoFlo Taste. Let me show you all how delicious the inside of my burrito looks. So I just toasted the outside like I told y'all. Inside that beautiful churrasco or skirt steak burrito with all those yummy vegetables, tomatoes, and melting cheese. Not bad. Oh, of course, scrambled eggs. All right, so moving on to my husband David's absolute favorite. As a matter of fact, when we told him we were doing Mexican breakfast, he said, you better bring home chilaquiles. So that's when we decided we've got to go green and do green chilaquiles today. So I make this in a few different ways, but today, this is how I made it. You take tomatillos whole, don't even cut them, some chopped up yellow or white onion, whatever you really have at home, 1 garlic clove, a couple of jalapenos, and some thyme. Throw that, as we did, so your pan doesn't get a mess, on a parchment paper, and either broil it, if you have a broiler, on your oven until they get all juicy and dark like this, or cook it at a really high temperature like 450 until everything gets nice and charred and juicy looking just like this. Take all these ingredients, put them in a blender, and puree them until they look like this gorgeous green salsa. Now, this doesn't just have to be for chilaquiles. It can go with anything you're eating. As a matter of fact, this would go really well with that steak burrito that we just made to go on top. Green salsa is delicious. So the next step we're gonna do, we're gonna heat a little bit of vegetable oil, whatever your favorite vegetable oil might be. And we're gonna heat up this sauce and give it a little bit more body by cooking it in a pan. And that's gonna be directly where we also warm up the tortillas for the chilaquil. So I have a little bit of chicken or vegetable stock on the side in case we need it to make this a little juicier. I'm not really sure where it's gonna go, so we're gonna check it out in about 20 seconds when I think it's ready to put the chips in. So be careful, if you're too high, all this is gonna start popping in your face and dirty your clothes. So wear an apron. So I wanted to see the thickness of this, and to me, there goes the pop. To me, it looks pretty good. It all depends on how juicy your tomatillos are, but you definitely want to season it before you start adding anything to it. So let's give it a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. While we warm up the tortillas, I'm gonna fry a couple eggs. That's how we eat it at home, and that's gonna be up in front. So this will be a serving for about 1 to 2. I think this sauce looks good. I don't think I need to add any broth to it. So let's go ahead and start warming up. So in Mexico, obviously everybody has tortillas, right? So what you do is when your tortillas get old, you either bake them or you fry them, and you make chips for everything, but especially chilaquiles. So these are fried corn chips that what you do is put your heat on kind of a lower heat, and what you're gonna want is for some of them to get really nice and soggy, and to some of them have a little bit of a crisp, because you want that difference. So I put some in at the beginning, and I put some in right before I serve. Get them nice and wet, and you would do the same thing with a red sauce. So I'm gonna bring my pan up here to fry a couple eggs. The pan is already hot. You can fry them in butter, or I'm gonna fry them in oil, the same oil I use to heat up the salsa. I think all of these yolks are double. So I'm just gonna add one, because this is just for one person. Let's go ahead, and it has a very delicate shell to it. All right, so these are looking really good. The ones on the top have stayed really nice and crisp, and the ones on the bottom are just soft enough. All right, let's go ahead and season up our eggs. A little bit of salt and pepper. I don't know where I would be without all these garnishes that I'm about to show you. It just makes the chilaquiles what they are. And garnishes are really kind of a big deal for a lot of the egg dishes that we do in Mexico. So look how yummy this is. Crisp on the top, soft on the bottom. They've soaked up all that gorgeous green sauce. Okay, the egg is exactly the way my husband likes it. Crispy around, egg yolks still nice and soft. We're gonna go right on top with that. Now the one thing we are gonna do though is we're gonna take some of this salsa left over and spoon a little bit around and dot the egg a little bit with it too. And there we go, yum. Okay, so for garnishes, we have Mexican crema, which if you can't find, you could just take a little sour cream and put a little bit of milk in it just to make it a little bit loose, because as you see, Mexican crema is definitely a little bit looser than sour cream. Then we've got a little queso fresco. If you like queso cotija better, that's perfectly fine too. It's a little bit of a drier cheese, but I love the crumbles of a queso fresco because they still have a little bit of creaminess to them. We're gonna do some nice little thin slices of radishes. Oof, yummy. All the way around. And then finally, some fresh cilantro for the top. I don't know, man. Even if you don't like salsa, I can't imagine not wanting to dig into this. Isn't it just a beauty? I have to take a little bit home to David. So come right back for more breakfast, but before I go, all my recipes are always available on the SoFlo Shows webpage. Just point your camera at this quick response code. It will take you directly to the SoFlo Shows page. You'll also see the QRC on every ingredient list throughout the show. Come right back. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste, making breakfast with a Mexican flavor. Our home is here at JA World, and they have a great event coming up. Join 200 of SoFlo's prominent leading gentlemen to toast the 2021 Ultimate Man of the Year's Truist Banks Tony Coley, and hear the ultimate guest speaker, actor and musician Michael Imperioli, and you know him as Christopher, of course, from The Sopranos. It's happening this Thursday, October 28th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. For information, visit jasouthflorida.org/ultimate night out. Space is limited, so act now or get a visit from Tony Soprano's protege. Now back to the food. All right, everyone, if you haven't had a potato flauta, you haven't lived. My husband and I were going over what I was going to cook today, and he said, you know, you never make me flautas. I said, you know, I don't. And we were talking about fillings, and he said, make a potato flauta. That's my favorite. So, honey, this one's for you, and I promise I'll make some at home too. All right, so we're gonna take, again, corn tortillas. Now, they can be a little dry and they can crack, but don't worry, we're gonna fry them, so no one will ever know. But if you want, just get them a little bit wet in some warm oil, but please be careful with your fingers when you do that. I've already made a little mashed potato. They're in here, and you can buy mashed potatoes or you can make mashed potatoes, totally up to you. These are some Yukon Gold, just with a little bit of cream and butter. You can make them with olive oil. Again, you can buy them because you're frying this and no one will know. So take a scoop of your mash, and what I did and what I'd like to do is just, it's still a little bit warm, but it's not hot. So just kind of mold this with your hands a little bit, kind of as if we were making a little dumpling, and then put that into your tortilla, roll it up, and use a little toothpick to set it into place and place it right into a pan of hot oil. Now, you don't have to do a crazy deep pot of oil. This is enough. This is about a half of an inch of oil in a fry pan. Let's do this one more time, okay? Get your tortilla a little warm, place it down. We'll get a scoop of potato. And if you want to turn these into, I don't know, whatever flavored potato you all like, if it's an herbed mashed potato, bacon mashed potato, whatever you feel like you can do, of course, turn this into your own. All right, so go ahead and put another pick in there and fry. So I would just fry these until they're golden. I already made some. They're right up here. I made them about 2 minutes before y'all got here. So let's go ahead and remove the picks. This one already lost his, okay. And set those next to each other. Now here's the best part of it. Let's do something yummy for the top, just like we did with our chilaquiles. So, first thing I'm gonna do is a little bit of Mexican crema to start softening those flautas a little bit. I have a little bit of Pico De Gallo, which we made, but of course you can also buy. It's just pieces of tomato cut into nice small dice, white onion and cilantro and lime and salt. Some shredded lettuce, and of course queso fresco over the top of that. You know what? I need more crema. Sorry. I love my crema. And there you have it. I mean, how delicious does that look? Should we take a bite? I think we should take a bite. They are corn, right? So let's see. Oh yeah, I did it. I made it. And it's good. It's creamy on the inside, crunchy on the outside. We might not have a beautiful picture for later, but man, it's worth it. Come right back. Celebrate the food of South Florida at SoFloTaste.com. It's the place to ask me a question or make a comment, especially good comments. Again, SoFloTaste.com. Now back to the cooking. Welcome back to my Mexican breakfast show. Are you wondering what I'm doing? Well, this is called a molinio, and this is what we use to moler or to mix hot chocolate. So this actually is from Oaxaca. I always get them because I always break them because my son Zach thinks that they're maracas. So this hot chocolate is kind of like the hot chocolate you would have in Mexico. There are ancho chilies in it. You could always use dried ancho powder. There's cinnamon and vanilla in it. There's a hint of cayenne and I think, did I already say vanilla? So it's pretty yummy. It has all those spices. It can be made with a little bit of cream and milk, half and half or milk, or just milk. Usually if I'm gonna make it at home for my son and us, I don't put the extra cream inside of it. I keep it a little thinner and lighter, but it's up to you. And then you just use your Molinio, which you can find on pretty much any online shop, to just mix it together like so. And it's the best. So I have to serve a little bit of spicy hot chocolate at the end of our delicious breakfast show. By the way, you have to try those potato flautas. They were absolutely ridiculous. Did you guys get to try any?
Oh, yes, they were awesome.
Woo! How'd you like my culinary breakfast tour of Mexico? Put these recipes in your breakfast repertoire. They're sure to be hits with you and your family. Next week, are you ready for some Halloween? Gone are the Halloweens with overstuffed bags of full-size candy bars. But you'll still need to give the kids something for dinner before heading out to trick or treat. So join me for those recipes on a spooktacular SoFlo Taste. So Taste Buds, thanks for spending some of your busy day with me. I love cooking for and hopefully with you. So please be smart, be safe, and for goodness sakes, be vaccinated. And I'll see you here next week. Goodbye, mwah, and good taste. Eddie, there's no tea in Mexico.